learn how to write a book review. This is one of the tools that we use in the formative assessment. Okay, so we have the formative assessment. In that, the first tool is book review. Okay, book review. What does this mean? Book. There is a book. We have the textbook. We have many other books. Yeah. So this book review, the main intention of a book review is to encourage extensive reading. What does extensive reading mean? Extensive reading means reading books apart from our textual books. Okay, apart from the textbooks, apart from the textual syllabus, if we go beyond it, that is called extensive reading. In order to encourage extensive reading, we have the tool called book review. So, okay, to do a book review, what to do? First of all, get a book. Just search in your bookshelf if you have any book. Otherwise, go and purchase a book. It may be a comic book, it may be a magazine, it may be a story book, it may be a novel, whatever. Yeah. And then see to it that in the book, now you ought to, now I have taken one of the books in my shelf. That's how I taught my grandmother to read and other stories. Okay. So here we ought to see whether we have the name of the author. Yeah. So here in the name of the authors is sometimes written on the cover page itself. Okay, so you can look at the name of the author here. This is Sudha Murthy. That's written on the cover page itself. So you need not go in for the reference. Yeah, and if you turn to the third page, you can see the details here. These details you ought to go through. In this, the first thing that we ought to search is the copyright holder. Who is the copyright holder? And this is the symbol for copyright. Okay, so you have to search here whether there is a copyright holder, the year of publishing, who is the publisher. Yeah, so all these details you ought to search here. Then only you can conclude, or you can consider it as a standard book worth reviewing. Okay, so after you have all these details we are going to record in the primary information. Hence, this is an essential part of book review. Right? After that, you start reading the book, and while reading the book, you need to keep certain things in your mind. So what are all the things I am going to record? I need to have a criteria. I need to have a set of things which I am searching for in the book. Okay. So while we are making the book review, we ought to see what the book is all about. Okay, whether it consists of stories, whether it consists of a single story, then you tell about the story. Whether it consists of fictions, write about it. If a magazine, it doesn't comprise of only a single thing, it consists many things. So you are to tell that it consists of information regarding these things. Well, it may be the automobiles, or the things related to the education of children, regarding the comics, regarding stories. Go through the magazine and get to know what is the overall book about. Okay, so we ought to see what it is about. Okay, so we ought to see what the book is all about. What does it consist of? Okay, then secondly, we ought to look at the language standard. How is the language standard? Whether it is too high for me to understand. Okay, if it is too high, I need to refer a dictionary. The language standard is too high, that it gives more scope to refer the dictionary and improves the vocabulary. That I can say. It is too low. The language standard is too low, that it did not help me anyway in improving my vocabulary. Or it was up to the mark, that I could get along. Generally, all the words we do not know the meaning. Looking at the sentence, when we go through the sentence, we get to know the meaning. Yeah, so it was up to the mark, wherein I got to know new things or new words. That way also you can write. Okay, so secondly, we are going with the language standard. Okay, so whether it was easy stuff or a tougher one, up to the mark. Okay, or understandable also you can say. Yeah, and thirdly, we look at the paper quality. Yeah, it's not in a sequence that I am telling. These are all the things you ought to keep in mind. How is the paper quality? The paper quality is good, the paper quality is durable, or the paper quality is very bright, very good. So that is how you give the rating to the paper quality. Okay, and then you can look at the font. How is the size of the letters? The font is too big, the font is too small, the font is good enough. Yeah, if it is too small, it is strenuous for our eyes. If it is too big, we ought to turn the pages frequently. Okay, so it can be the font size, whether you are comfortable with it or not, or are there any modifications required, that you can write here. Then you can look at the best part of the book. Best part of the book in the sense, if the whole book is made of one story, or one story is woven around in the whole book, you ought to say which part of the story, that is in the beginning the book was a bit boring, in the middle it was entertaining, and again the climax was in a predictable stage, or the 3/4 of the book was very good, very sober, but in the end the climax was so twisty that it was not up to the mark, or the book was boring and did not expect such a good climax, the climax was a surprising one. That way you can write if the whole book is about one story. Yeah, if it consists of many number of stories, you can say that the special part of the book is a moral value that is given at the end of the story, or you can say that the each one is from a different concept. Sometimes they all are in the similar lines, that also is too boring. One is of the moral values, one is of spirituality, one is of discipline, one is of the practical world. If there are different concepts woven around, that is again better. So that is the best part of the book, you can say. And sometimes some books are so interesting, once you started, you cannot resist yourself till you finish the book. So such way the story goes in such an interesting way. So that way you can say the best part of the book is the way all the contents are arranged, the story goes, that is with lot of suspense all around, that it's quite difficult to keep the book down. That way you can say, suppose you expected something and you did not find it, you need not write the best part. Yeah, and then changes required. So here best part you can write which part, beginning, middle, end, or the best characteristics of the book, which is the best. Now magazine we can't say, it's not a whole story, no. What is the best part, which one you like, the riddle section or the comic section or the real story, real life incident, all those you can write. Okay, and then you can go about the changes required. Changes required in the sense, now if you see in the story there are not at all any illustrations, whereas you find many illustrations in some other books. So this can be a change required. You can say some illustrations could have been added to it. Okay, if illustrations existed in that, you might expect something else, that you can write. A bit of sense of humor could have been added to it. Some notes could have, some tips could have been added here and there. So that way whatever you want you can write. Suppose you feel there are no changes required, it's just a masterpiece, you can say the book is pretty well balanced, no changes are required. Yeah, everything is fine, but it is good always to have a critical analysis and find out what could be the better option to make the book better enough. Okay, and the second and the next one is you go with the age group. Which age group does it suit? Next, you ought to see in which time it is suitable to read this book, whether it is the evening times or the morning times, or during vacations or during journeys, which is a suitable time to read the book. That you ought to analyze. Once you read the book, you will get to know which is the right time to read the book. Okay, so the correct time, apt time, you can say apt time to read the book. Okay, don't generalize telling free time. We are never free, we have some other work to engage ourselves. Okay, so which time is it, which particular period of time is best suitable for reading this book, we ought to write. Okay, and then we can write the overall experience. After reading this book, after after reading this book, what is the knowledge that I gained? Okay, so without any experience, we won't read the whole book. Okay, so we have some pleasant experience or some knowledge gaining experience or a wisdom gaining experience or some realization when we read the book. That is why we continue reading the book. Okay, so the overall experience, once I read the book, I got to know the other side of the world. I got to know the enjoyment in reading fantasies. I got to know how great imagination is worth. All that, whatever we felt like while we read the book, that we ought to record in the overall experience. Okay, and I'll tell you how to present the book review. So what all I told you, when you are purchasing a book, what all you ought to look for is publisher, name of the publisher, year of publishing, okay, name of the author, publishing or publication, anything, okay. And if there are many years like first published, second published, you can take the first published, that year you can take, yeah. And the copyright holder, generally the authors or the publishers. Okay, just go for the symbol as I told you, the C inside a circle. Okay, and the author in the magazines and all, the author is not mentioned. You have the editor. In that also, if 3 or 4 editors are there, the chief editor you pick up and write. Okay, so I have a written format of how the book review was made to write in the previous years in our school. So I'll just show you a sample of it so that it is easy for you to present. And remember, take a photocopy of the cover page so that you can stick to the book. Okay, and while the corrections and all are going on, it's my habit to check the copyright holder, the publisher, the publication and all the same, so that everything is going exactly hand to hand and then everything is genuinely done. So see to it that you too do a perfect book review, and apart from this you can add many more things, but I feel this is sufficient for the 10th standard level, so I have limited it till here. Okay, so now I will show you the sample of the book review done by the previous year student. This is one of the ways in which you can write a book review. You can give the heading book review in the center of the page. Okay, and then here I have made the children stick the photocopy of the cover page. So I'll just give you a clear picture of it. This is the cover page, the photocopy of the cover page out here, and then the primary information where you have the name of the book, name of the writer or the name of the author or name of the editor, whatever is given in that book that you ought to write here. The name of the publisher, whatever is the publisher, whatever is the name of the publisher that you would write here. Year of publishing you would write here. Copyright holder, whoever is the copyright holder, the name you would write here. Total number of pages in the entire book, how many pages are there, that you would write here. Then the number of pages I read. So here the child has read the whole book, so she has written 223 pages. Whether you read it completely or not, you have to tell it here. I had read 50 pages, 100 pages, write it genuinely. Okay, and then look at this. These are the columns. All these columns fall in the same straight line. So in order to do this, what you ought to do is, you ought to fold the page into half. Okay, so when you fold the page into half, you have a border out here. So this gives an indication that more or less I am going to write all the columns here. And the general mistake what children do is here, they put dot dot dash, which is wrong. You ought to put only dot dot, which is a column. Okay, so be careful with that. Put only dot dot and see to it that all the columns fall in the same straight line. Okay, and after that we can start our book review. Here the child has written the book review this way. This book tells us about whatever is the book about, and then the language standard. This book introduces us to rich English. though can be understood by using a dictionary. Okay, so this is about the language standard, this is about the best part, and the changes required is written here, and the age suitable, whichever age is suitable, that is written in the time before going to bed. Okay, and this is the overall experience that the child had after reading the book or while reading the book. Okay, and after this make a tabular column wherein your marks would be allotted. So for the primary information, where we wrote the name of the book, all the information, if they are correct and up to the mark, the marks would be allotted accordingly. Content is the book review, how well the book review is written following the pattern. The content. Presentation is how well or how good you present it in the classroom. It's not just writing. The child writes the book review and presents the same in the classroom in a oral activity. Okay, so that is what the presentation is all about. Overall, the marks come to 20 or 10 according to the teacher, and then it is rounded off to 5 marks and the teacher signs. So this is about the book review. So I have just zoomed in the camera so that you can have a complete view of the book review. I believe I have done justice in showing you. Yes, so I have written the primary information on the board so that you have a clear idea about what to write in the primary information. The first one is the name of the book. Here, name of the author or editor or writer, anything according to the book. And name of the publisher, year of publishing, copyright holder, total number of pages I read. Here publication also you can write, name of the publication also you can write, year of publication also you can write. Okay, and then see to it that all the columns fall in the same straight line. Maintain neatness, that is more important. Avoid all those designs and all which are frequently used in the project work. Project work is data collection. Project work is consolidation of the data. So designs and all are not necessary. Okay, make it as simple and plain as possible and as neat and tidy as possible, and that would be the most attractive part of the project work. And this is the primary information which I have shown you in an enlarged size of there. So do check out in this. And then I have posted other student reflections such as a cartoon review, film review, story review, and other reviews, the pattern to follow, and I have put an example, and those two have been picked up from the students of the previous year, whatever they had written. So just refer to it for further idea about the student reflection, how to go about it, the pattern to be followed. And this tool is used for 9th and 10th standard. Yes, and the link of the playlist which I have prepared for the formative assessment is put down in the description box below. Do check out and get to know many more things, and if you need any clarification regarding any other reviews, you just text to me in the comment section. Thank you and have a great day ahead. Please subscribe our channel. Please click the like button, and I'll be happy if you subscribe our channel and share with your friends. Thank you and have a great day ahead.